Carl Jung's theory of personality types offers a profound framework for understanding the human psyche. While many are familiar with the simplified versions found in modern personality tests, Jung's original concepts go much deeper, revealing not just how we think, but why we think the way we do. The foundation of Jung's typology rests on a simple yet revolutionary idea: our minds naturally process information in different ways. These differences aren't flaws or advantages, they're simply varied approaches to experiencing reality. Jung identified 4 fundamental psychological functions that shape how we interact with the world: thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition. Thinking is the function of logical analysis. Thinkers process information through rational frameworks, seeking objective truth and coherent systems. They excel at problem-solving, creating structures, and making decisions based on impersonal criteria. When a thinker encounters a situation, their first instinct is to analyze it, break it down into components, and evaluate against established principles. Feeling, contrary to popular belief, isn't about being emotional. Rather, it's a rational function focused on values and human considerations. Feelers make decisions based on how actions affect people, prioritizing harmony and meaningful connections. They excel at understanding interpersonal dynamics and creating environments where people feel valued. Their strength lies in their ability to weigh the human element in any situation. Please subscribe. Sensation is the function that processes tangible reality. Sensors trust what they can directly experience through their 5 senses. They're highly attuned to details, practical considerations, and present circumstances. They excel at implementing solutions, managing resources, and responding to immediate needs. Their approach is grounded in what is real and verifiable rather than theoretical possibilities. Intuition focuses on patterns, meanings, and possibilities. Intuitives look beyond the obvious, seeking connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. They're naturally oriented toward the future, often sensing where things are heading before others notice. Their strength lies in innovation, conceptual thinking, and recognizing emerging trends before they become apparent. Jung observed that these functions don't operate in isolation. Each person has a dominant function, their primary way of processing information, supported by an auxiliary function that provides balance. For example, someone might primarily rely on thinking but use intuition as a secondary approach, creating a personality that's both analytical and forward-thinking. But Jung's insight went even deeper. He recognized that these functions could be directed either outward toward the external world, extraversion, or inward toward the subjective realm, introversion. This distinction creates 8 primary cognitive functions, each with its unique characteristics. Extraverted thinking organizes the external world according to logical principles. People who lead with this function create systems, establish procedures, and implement efficient solutions. They're often drawn to leadership roles where they can bring order to chaos and ensure that operations run smoothly. Their strength lies in their ability to make objective decisions and implement them effectively. Introverted thinking, by contrast, builds internal frameworks of understanding. These individuals analyze concepts deeply, refining their personal understanding until it achieves perfect logical consistency. They may spend hours contemplating a single idea, examining it from every angle. While they may seem detached from external realities, their internal clarity allows them to cut through confusion and identify core principles. Extraverted feeling harmonizes the social environment. People with this dominant function are acutely aware of others' emotional states and work to create positive atmospheres. They naturally adapt to social expectations and help groups find consensus. Their strength lies in building communities where everyone feels included and valued. Introverted feeling develops deeply personal values. These individuals have an internal moral compass that guides their decisions, often independent of social conventions. They may be quiet about their convictions, but they're unwavering in their commitment to what they believe is right. Their authenticity and depth of feeling allow them to stand firm when others might compromise their principles. Extraverted sensation fully engages with the physical world. These individuals are often described as having a zest for life. They notice details others miss, respond quickly to changing circumstances, and fully immerse themselves in experiences. They excel in situations requiring immediate action and practical solutions. Their strength lies in their ability to make the most of the present moment. Introverted sensation builds a detailed internal repository of experiences. These individuals compare current situations against their extensive memory of past events, noticing subtle differences that others might overlook. They value tradition, reliability, and thoroughness. Their strength lies in their ability to maintain stability and ensure that important details aren't forgotten. Extraverted intuition Possibilities in the external world. These individuals quickly see connections between diverse concepts, generating multiple options and potential paths forward. They're often described as idea people, constantly spotting opportunities that others miss. Their strength lies in their ability to adapt to changing circumstances and find creative solutions to complex problems. Introverted intuition perceives underlying patterns and meanings. These individuals often experience sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere but actually result from subconscious pattern recognition. They have an uncanny ability to predict how situations will unfold, seeing implications that others miss. Their strength lies in their strategic vision and ability to understand complex systems. Understanding these 8 cognitive functions provides a nuanced framework for self-awareness. But Jung's theory goes beyond mere categorization. He believed that psychological health depends on developing not just our dominant function, but also integrating our less conscious functions. According to Jung, we all have a shadow side aspects of ourselves that we've repressed or neglected. Often, these include the functions opposite to our dominant approach. A strong thinker might repress feeling, a strong intuitive might neglect sensation. These repressed functions don't disappear, they operate unconsciously, sometimes erupting in unexpected ways during times of stress. Jung called the least conscious function the inferior function. For example, someone with dominant extraverted thinking might have introverted feeling as their inferior function. While they excel at creating logical systems, they might struggle to understand their own values and emotional responses. Under stress, these repressed aspects can emerge in primitive, uncontrolled ways. The logical thinker might have emotional outbursts that seem completely out of character. This is why Jung emphasized the importance of individuation, the lifelong process of integrating all aspects of the psyche. True psychological growth isn't about becoming more of what you already are. It's about recognizing and developing the parts of yourself that you've neglected. The journey towards psychological wholeness begins with recognizing your dominant function. Are you naturally drawn to logical analysis? Do you prioritize human considerations in your decisions? Do you trust concrete facts above all else? Or do you constantly look for hidden meanings and future possibilities? Once you've identified your primary approach, the next step is acknowledging its limitations. Every function has blind spots. Thinkers might miss the human element in situations. Feelers might avoid necessary confrontations to maintain harmony. Sensors might dismiss important possibilities because they can't be immediately verified. Intuitives might overlook practical details while pursuing their visions. True growth comes from developing your auxiliary function to balance your dominant approach. A thinker who develops feeling gains emotional intelligence without sacrificing clarity. A sensor who develops intuition maintains practical awareness while becoming more open to new possibilities. But the most transformative growth often comes from engaging with your inferior function, the aspect of yourself that feels most foreign and uncomfortable. This doesn't mean abandoning your strengths. Rather, it means expanding your psychological repertoire so you can draw on different approaches as situations require. Jung's typology has profound implications for relationships, career choices, and personal development. In relationships, understanding different cognitive preferences can transform conflicts into opportunities for growth. What appears as stubbornness or irrationality in a partner might simply be a different way of processing information. The thinker, who dismisses their feeling partner's concerns as too emotional, misses the valuable perspective being offered. Similarly, the intuitive who becomes frustrated with their sensing partner's focus on details fails to appreciate the practical wisdom being shared. In career development, recognizing your natural cognitive preferences can help you find work that energizes rather than depletes you. Intuitives often thrive in roles requiring innovation and strategic thinking. Sensors excel in positions demanding attention to detail and practical implementation. Thinkers find satisfaction in creating logical systems, while feelers contribute valuable insights about human dynamics and organizational culture. But perhaps the most important application of Jung's typology is in personal growth. By understanding your cognitive preferences, you can identify areas for development that will bring greater balance to your life. If you're a strong thinker who struggles with personal relationships, developing your feeling function might be the key to greater fulfillment. If you're an intuitive who constantly generates ideas but rarely completes projects, strengthening your sensing function could help you turn visions into reality. Jung's approach differs significantly from many modern personality systems that treat types as fixed categories. He saw typology not as a way to label people, but as a tool for understanding the dynamic processes of the psyche. Your type isn't a box that confines you, it's a starting point for exploration and growth. This nuanced understanding has often been lost in popular applications of Jung's work. The Myers-Briggs type indicator, while based on Jung's theories, simplifies his concepts in ways that can lead to misunderstandings. Jung never intended his typology to be used for sorting people into rigid categories or predicting behavior. Rather, he offered it as a framework for understanding the diverse ways human minds operate. Another common misconception is treating the cognitive functions as skills that can be ranked from strongest to weakest. Jung saw them as different modes of consciousness, each with its own validity. The goal isn't to become good at everything, but to develop greater flexibility in how you engage with the world. Jung also recognized that type development changes throughout life. In youth, we often focus on developing our dominant function. Middle age typically brings greater awareness of our auxiliary function. Later life often involves reconciling with our less conscious functions, particularly the inferior function. This lifelong development process reflects Jung's view that psychological growth continues throughout the entire lifespan. For those interested in applying Jung's insights to their own lives, the journey begins with honest self-reflection. Notice how you naturally approach problems. Pay attention to what energizes you and what drains you. Consider feedback from others about your strengths and blind spots. But remember that only you can truly determine your type. It's about your internal experience, not external behaviors. Once you've identified your dominant function, look for ways to develop greater balance. If you're a strong thinker, practice considering how decisions affect people, not just systems. If you're a feeler, challenge yourself to analyze situations objectively, even when emotions run high. If you're a sensor, allow yourself to explore possibilities beyond what's immediately apparent. If you're an intuitive, practice grounding your visions in practical reality. The ultimate goal isn't to transcend type, but to achieve greater psychological wholeness by integrating all aspects of your psyche. Jung believed that this integration, what he called individuation, was the central task of human development. By recognizing and honoring all parts of yourself, including those that remain unconscious, you move toward becoming who you truly are. Jung's typology offers more than just a system for categorizing personalities. It provides a map for understanding the human mind in all its complexity. By recognizing the different ways we process information and make decisions, we gain insight not just into ourselves, but into the rich diversity of human experience. Please subscribe, share, and like this video. In a world that often pressures us to conform to external expectations, Jung's message is revolutionary. There is no single right way to be. The thinker's clarity, the feeler's compassion, the sensor's practicality, and the intuitive's vision are all essential aspects of human consciousness. By honoring these differences in ourselves and others, we move toward a more complete understanding of what it means to be human. The journey toward psychological wholeness isn't easy. It requires confronting aspects of ourselves that we've long ignored or rejected. But as Jung himself observed, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. By understanding the fundamental patterns of the psyche, we take the first step on that transformative journey. So which type are you? More importantly, which aspects of yourself have you yet to discover? The answer to these questions might just change how you see yourself and the world around you forever.